Good afternoon and welcome to Omnibroslive Coffee with the Omnibros. Live on a Sunday, I'm Omnidog, joined with my partner, one of my original partners, Comics Guide 101. Actually, he started the whole thing, so I'm his partner.
Hey now.
Hey now. How's it going, Lou?
Man, it's good. It's a beautiful Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday over here in Florida.
That's good. That's good. It's gray and cold here in Virginia, but it'll get better.
It'll get better, man.
I think it's supposed to be like in the 60s for Christmas, which is fine with me. I had the most awesome white Christmas ever in my life. And let's see, how old is my daughter? Because she was still excited about Beanie Babies. So 1995, we went up to visit my wife's parents in New Hampshire. There was already 3 feet of snow on the ground.
Wow.
It snowed. There was already 3 feet of snow on the ground in New Hampshire. This is 1995. And it snowed all day and all night Christmas Eve, which was awesome. And we woke up the next day and there was, 2 more feet of snow. But that, White Christmas is cool if there's snow on the ground, but have it snowing on Christmas Eve, that was like a gift from the weather gods. That was so cool and peaceful. And there was so much snow we couldn't go to church, so I like that a lot.
I think as a kid, you kind of look for any excuse to not go to church. I was raised Catholic, so for me it was, God, I just don't want to go on Sundays because it's like a 3-hour thing.
Well, I've been a kid for 61 years then because I've never wanted to go. But a place you do want to go would be InStockTrades.com. IST, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. At the end of the month, which we are getting perilously close to, IST is kind enough to give us a gift card to give away to a lucky viewer like you. So let me see when that date is going to be. The 30th? The 31st. It'll be the 31st of Thursday. So mark your calendars because you get a $50 gift credit at IST. Anywhere in the world, you just have to pay for shipping. If you're lucky enough to live in the United States, sorry, everybody that doesn't, as far as IST goes, but you get free shipping on orders of $50 or more. You've seen the size of some of these Omnis? That's like $40 worth of postage you're saving when you make a big purchase. That's a big deal that they give free shipping. Fantastic customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Hey.
Oh, and we just had T-Lar Blunt enter the chat.
That's
good. That's always good because, good morning, friends. We were just chatting about what we should talk about, and we said, let's just see where it goes. But I was thinking about showing my new action figures of the metal universe, Metalverse.
Ooh,
universe. I just got a few in, and they're everything I could have hoped for and more.
Go ahead, man. Show them off.
Well, we don't. I mean, I'll wait. I don't. Let me get them in order here, and I will.
Okay.
I have to say, I understand that people want more than just Batman, and I agree. They're totally right. And that will come, but I am ecstatic with these figures. This is a move I will give DC credit for because they don't get any credit, and that there's a reason for that. They're fuck ups. But they made the right decision giving the line to McFarlane. Mattel sucked, and these McFarlane figures are the real deal. They are way fun, way much better made, really good face sculpts. They have what I consider an important feature, and that's articulation in the foot, because that adds to the posability.
Mm-hmm.
They're reasonably priced, and if anything, they practically come packaged like a Barbie doll. You won't know that until you have a girl yourself, a young girl. But Barbie figures were strapped in with 10 plastic straps all over the place. 10 or 15. I mean, getting a Barbie figure was like, yay, we're getting a Barbie figure. And Dad's like, oh God, I gotta open this thing. It was like surgery. Get Barbie out of the package. So so they're strapped in a little bit, but that's cool. I'm fine with that. But yeah, these figures are the real thing, and I don't want to turn this into a figure drama because I know not everybody's into it.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that are into it will enjoy just a brief showing of these figures. Because I stayed up till 1 a.m. last night unpackaging. I cleaned everything up in this place, and I unpackaged my figures, and I stayed up with my daughter as she binged all of Mandalorian yesterday.
Oh, was everything spoiled for her, or did she go in pretty clean?
I told her she better watch it yesterday or it's going to get spoiled, because unlike me, she's like you and every other person. They go all over the internet. She goes all over the internet to get information. I don't, and so nothing was spoiled for me ever in the whole show, which is great because it was a great surprise. Everything was a great surprise. But I said, you better binge this, or you're gonna be really bitter about if it gets spoiled.
So, best Star Wars property since the original trilogy? What do you think? I'm gonna say
that. You say yes since the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Season 2, as good as season was, as good as season 1 was, season 2 was on a different level.
Yeah.
I agree that season 2, especially the last 3 episodes, I will agree with you about that and Rogue One. I think Rogue One was, to me, just as exciting as the first 3. But yeah, I agree with you. This was a real gift for us to get. And I agree. I agree with you. I think it was the best thing since the original trilogy.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you were. I think of the newer films, Rogue One is far away the best of the new trilogy that they've done, and it's. I love Rogue One. Well, having watched it again a few months ago, it's absolutely up there. Is probably in my top 3 for Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
I love Rogue One. With so how would you rank them? Like, do you have an order in your head or anything like that? Because I know for a lot of fans, they have their own personal order, and Last Jedi kind of sits somewhere in there. Some people hate Last Jedi. I personally think of the new trilogy. Last Jedi is my favorite of the new trilogy.
I agree with that. I liked Force Awakens. I liked it a lot. I will say that I liked it a lot. I loved Last Jedi. And the Rise of Skywalker, I know gets universal hatred.
It's a dumpster fire for me.
Okay.
It's a steaming dumpster fire.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than my daughter because she loved Kylo Ren. I enjoyed it. I get what people didn't like about it, and I agree, but I still liked it because it was a Star Wars film that didn't have Jar Jar Binks in it. So, I mean, to me, that's a win. If it doesn't have Jar Jar Binks or Hayden Christensen in it, it's a win. I don't have them ranked. Empire Strikes Back is in my top 5 as all-time favorite films with Casablanca and Annie Hall and West Side Story and Empire Strikes Back, and what would the fifth one be? Probably Citizen Kane. So I mean, I go way back to my movies, but Empire Strikes Back to me is the perfect movie.
See, I'm in the same boat as I think Empire, of all of the Star Wars films is still my favorite, because I consider Empire to be almost a perfect film. It's in there with, for me, Back to the first Back to the Future, Empire, Seven Samurai. Those are films that I just go, wow, these were from script to characters to everything, just perfect film. And I love the fact that in Empire, the good guys lose in Empire.
Yeah.
They get their ass handed to them bad in Empire. And I absolutely love Empire.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to see it in a movie theater before the internet, so everything was a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the reveal that Vader was his father, the theater was packed, and I think I said, "What? You must be!" I think I just exclaimed out loud, "What?" That blew me away. But yeah, I agree. To me, it is a perfect film. Rounding out the top 10 would be like Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Both Deadpool movies. No, I'm kidding. I do like the Deadpool movies, but I mean, I consider it a classic piece of filmmaking. One thing that all those movies you mentioned, like Seven Samurai and stuff, they had a vision.
Yeah.
And they followed it perfectly. It was a vision that they had. So we're not going to spoil Mandalorian because plenty of people haven't seen it. But yeah, season 2 was just fantastic. And the last 3 episodes were some of the best television I've ever seen. And the finale was my favorite Star Wars moment ever. Ever. Would
you say it, because I've been hearing this, I guess, complaint online. Would you say they dipped a little bit too much into the fan service this season? Because I think it worked. They did a lot of fan service, but I think it worked overall.
I love that episode so much that I don't want to know any complaints about it. I don't want to hear any complaints about it. Mm-hmm. It was such a moment for me. I don't want to listen to any criticism of it. And that's my right as a moviegoer, and I don't see that at all. And that's a dumb thing to say because it was super.
It's set up and it pays off so well.
It was organic. I mean, yeah.
It's set up throughout the whole season, and we're not going to spoil it, I promise. But everything that happens in the last, like, what would you say, 10, 15 minutes? It's all set up throughout the whole season, and then eventually you get to the payoff of that. I know for me, I caught it early on when a certain, like, ship shows up and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's what's going on. And you said you had absolutely no clue at all.
No, I didn't. I go into these shows sort of like a blank slate. I don't pick up on things like a lot of other people. I don't. My mind sort of goes blank, and I just absorb what's going on. So I didn't pick up on anything. So everything was well, I'm trying to stay away from spoilers here. When things happen, it is all new to me, and I don't. Well, I don't want to spoil it and use certain words, but what happened was organic, as we say. But I didn't clue in to anything. I never clue into anything until the thing happens, and that goes with every show and every movie that I've ever seen. Anything that happens, I don't like. Some people will see a movie and they'll say they picked up on what was going to happen, halfway through the movie or the last third of it. That never happens with me. Every movie is like whatever's the surprise is a big surprise to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't think that I think at all when I watch these things. I just let it go into my brain.
And I asked you this off the air, but you ugly cried, didn't you, at the end?
Well, I will admit to that, but I also don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to spoil it for people.
Got it.
But
I did too.
I sobbed.
I did too.
I was alone in a room and I sobbed for 20 minutes. Then the next morning I woke up and I was still crying.
It was good. It's I can't decide if I love this more than Queen's Gambit. This year is my favorite TV show.
Now, what's that about? I haven't seen it.
You definitely should see it. Queen's Gambit, it's about a young girl who she's raised in an orphanage and she learns how to play chess. And she eventually rises up in rank throughout like the chess community and becomes a world champion and stuff like that. It's really good, Jess. You would dig the hell out of Queen's Gambit.
That sounds like something my wife might want to see.
Your wife would probably dig it a lot too. It's a great show. Chess isn't, I know for a lot of people, chess isn't exactly the most interesting thing, but they make it where you don't have to really understand how chess is played to really dig the show, because it's more about the drama of her going through and beating addiction, and it's a lot of goods. It's great. I absolutely love Queen's Gambit, and it has the actress that played Magic from New Mutants.
Oh, frick! I still need to see that.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. She's fantastic.
Frick! I still need to do that.
Queen's Gambit is great, man. You and your wife would probably dig it a lot.
All right, good. And how many episodes is it?
I think it's like 6-7 episodes. It's a short. Yeah, it's a short series.
And it's on Netflix?
Yep, Netflix.
All right, I will recommend that to my wife. She's always looking for stuff for us to share, and I can't tell you how many shows we've started. And she said, "This is too dark."
No, it's not. It's not a dark show. You'll dig it a lot. It's set in the 70s. So the music, the time period, and the clothing and stuff like that. You'll especially relate to it a lot. Like I said, I absolutely loved it. I think Queen's Gambit is my favorite show this year.
Wow. Okay, I will definitely watch that with my wife because I hear of all these great shows and I end up finishing them myself, like Luther, True Detective. She made it through one episode of True Detective and she said, "I'm out." She doesn't. I mean, that kind of tone I think is exciting and interesting, but that's not for her. She's more of she's not a Hallmark watcher, but she wants something that makes her feel good, I think, really, in the end. Did you ever see Searching for Bobby Fischer?
I haven't. No. Is that he was a chess player, right?
Sorry?
Was he a chess player, Bobby Fischer?
Bobby Fischer was the world champion chess player. He defeated Boris Spaznek or whoever the Russian incredible chess player was, and Bobby Fischer went on to become a lunatic because I think to be a prodigy in chess, if you're not careful, it's like being a prodigy in anything like violin or something. Those people are several levels above us in their mental acuity and their ability to concentrate.
Yeah.
And I think it wears on him, but it's not actually about Bobby Fischer. It's Joe Mantegna. Joe Mantegna, you'll recognize him. It's about his son in like 3rd grade who turns out to be a child prodigy, and you never see Bobby Fischer. It's more of this child's journey, and Lawrence Fishburne is in it too, who's really great. Boris Spassky, thank you. it's about how his father wants to encourage him, but not push him over the edge. But his father ends up being almost like every prodigy's parents, and wants his starts to be a chess parent.
Okay.
And the kid gets I won't go any further because I don't want to spoil it for you, because I 100% recommend this movie. It is so good. But he learns the classic way to play chess by Gandhi, Ben Kingsley. And Lawrence Fishburne is a street chess player, like in New York, where you bang the clock and you got to move, and bang the clock and you got to move. And he starts taking lessons from him, and he combines the two, and it's amazing. It is a really good movie. I highly recommend it.
I'll check that out, man. I'll check that out. Yeah, there's something to be said for those child prodigies. Do you get a Michael Jackson without his father being a tyrant to him? Or do you get a Tiger Woods without his dad being kind of a tyrant to him? Do you get those guys where they're just a bit above normal in terms of their skill level? They rise above stuff, but you look at a lot of those backgrounds and, man, they had a fucked up childhood.
Yeah. That's one thing I think all those greats in everything have in common. Is that they had those parents that pushed them and pushed them and pushed them because they recognized the greatness.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. They wouldn't have been great without those parents. But at what cost?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We have a special guest, the Omnibus Collector and his lightsaber.
What's up?
Oh, it's got a sound effect.
Ooh.
That's my my Galaxy's Edge saber.
Those are so much better than the ones we used to have. Do you remember the ones we had where you had to
yeah,
open?
I had one of those I had a green one, and I also had the Darth Maul one that they put out, and so you spin it and both of them would come out, and that was super tight. But one night it came with a mask. It came with a Maul mask, and one night I might have told this story a while ago. I went to my sister's room at night, and I had the mask on and a hood on. I was wearing all black, and mind you, like, this is like, 1998, 1999. So she was like 3 or 4 years old, and I kick her door open, and then I just like turn it on, and she screams bloody murder, man. Like, it was hilarious.
You have not told that story before. That is awesome.
I have all the lights off, so I kicked something in the dark, and I was like, oh, better pick that up. So what's up, guys?
Yeah, man.
We're talking about
lazy Sunday.
We're talking about great movies. We're trying not to spoil the Mandalorian, but it led us into talking about other great movies. Lou was talking about how great the Queen's Gambit is, and that led me. We talked about child prodigies and how they all had one thing in common: the father and or the mother that pushed them to be great, and they ended up being great, but at what cost?
Yeah, there was did you ever get to see I, Tonya with Margot Robbie?
I need to see that. She's so
you
great.
need to see that. That's such a fucking great movie.
I do need to see that. I love her. She's so great.
I thought she was robbed that year. I think she should have gotten Best Actress for it. At least, I'm not even sure if I think she got a nom for it, but I thought she should have won. She was.
Do you remember who did win?
I don't remember. But she was fantastic in that. And it's the same thing where the mom in I, Tonya is a harpy of a woman. She is horrible.
Oh, Allison Janney.
She is terrible. I love that movie though.
Goodbye to Ty Tilar Blunt. He has to go. Thank you for joining us, Tilar. Yeah, that is a great combo of Margot Robbie and Allison Janney. Does Allison Janney like smoke like a fiend throughout the whole thing?
Yep.
I can just see it. She is such a good actress.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I don't remember what year it was it came out though, so I can't
Do you remember?
extrapolate on.
Do you
on
remember
who
who
won.
did get Best Actress over her?
I don't remember because I don't remember the year.
Okay.
I think it was 2018. I Tonya.
Okay, chat. Who won Best Actress over Margot Robbie for I, Tonya? The chat will have that, I bet, within 1 minute. Go.
Oh, sorry. So did you see the Mandalorian finale? Did you like it, Ryley?
I did. I had a lot of fun, and this is
Careful,
here's
no
my-
spoilers now.
This is my original color that I bought it with, but you can buy all the different kyber crystals.
Cool.
So I had switched it out.
No spoiler.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun with it, and I on what episode was 5 or 6 with the other big reveal with a certain gentleman coming back. That one I was very lukewarm on that, and I didn't really like. A lot of people were super excited about it, and I was like, that return didn't really do it for me. And I think like it after that, like the next few episodes made it up for me, and the finale was great. I loved where they went with that. I loved, there's been a lot of argument about why it's good or bad. I think that it's a really good ending to the season. It supplies us with good drama and good action to show us, like, as they move into the next step of this story with these characters. It brings back a lot of things from throughout the season that make for a great little ensemble. And then I'm trying to think about how to say stuff without spoiling anything for anyone who might not have watched it.
Also, I need you to be careful not to say anything remotely negative about the finale, because it was the greatest Star Wars moment in my life, and I refuse to hear anything other than it was the greatest moment. I don't want to have it tainted. So I understand what you're saying about the other reveal.
But no, this one was great in my opinion, and it works really well to give us. So we have this 30-year gap between Return and The Force Awakens, and this story happens 5 years into that gap, and I think that they're doing a really great job of giving us some connective tissue to tell us what's been happening in the entirety of the galaxy during this time. And that's something that I really appreciated out of the finale here, is that it really does feel like, Favreau and Filoni and everyone else are doing a great job of trying to create this connective tissue. And now that we have the reveals of all the spin-off stuff that's coming, it feels like we're going to be getting a lot more material to flesh out this era between the Age of the Rebellion and the Age of the Resistance. We're going to get a lot of stuff with the new shows that they've announced. So I'm really happy about it. I was excited, and Jess, just don't talk to Sherlock.
I know. I already know. I've already unsubscribed to the Omniplex, so I don't even see it. That's all I've heard, and I am totally not going to look at the Omniplex for the next month. And they're saying it was Frances McDermott for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That was a great film. Okay. Yeah, I can see why they gave it to her. That was a great film. That 3 Billboards was fantastic. Was that the same year as Hereditary, though? Because she got snubbed. What's her name? Toni Collette got snubbed for Hereditary. She was fantastic in that.
Did she not even get nominated?
She didn't even get nominated.
Boy, she does emotions like Meryl Streep, man. She is a great actress.
How great was Hereditary? I know you loved it, Jess.
I loved all of it until the very, very end, which I thought was a really odd ending. But the actor that played the kid did a good job of wondering what the hell is going on here. And I did love Hereditary. That was my film buddies, Jenny, I think that was one of her all-time favorite movies, Hereditary, and I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, I did love it. I I understand a way to create a controversy in the Omniplex is to bring up Midsommar.
Oh, that was fun.
I mean, I went into the admin chat and I said something, and they Ryley and Adonis both predicted something that immediately happened. I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, you guys are good," but I still haven't seen it because I can't quite decide what it actually is because people have so many different opinions. I don't know. Is it a horror movie? Is it a psychedelic dream? Or nobody's really described it to me.
I guess using your own terms, psychedelic folk horror would probably be the best way to describe it to you.
Psychedelic folk horror. Okay.
It's got elements of. It has elements of horror in it, but it's mostly through the use of psychedelics, and it's really hard to explain. The movie's long, though. The movie's like 2 hours and a half, and that's not the director's cut. The director's cut is almost 3 hours long. I enjoyed Midsommar, mostly because I think it's the closest I've ever seen a film get to actually being on shrooms.
Without actually being on them yourself?
Without actually being on them yourself. But it's long. It's really long. And I don't even know if it's horror-ish, I guess. I don't even really know, to be honest with you. But I dug it.
Okay. I think there's a lot more movies I want to see before it, but I may get to it eventually.
And I think it's on Amazon Prime if you have that. But I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed it more than Hereditary after I watched both of them. But Midsommar was one that I enjoy less after thinking about a lot of the issues that it has.
Oh,
but I enjoyed it in the moment. So like if we're talking about, don't second guess your answers on a test, then like I enjoyed it,
Okay. Let's see. There was a question there. The next movie I am going to see is New Mutants. I'm putting that on the calendar for this week. It's totally dropped off my radar. I've got to see it. So I'm going to see that next. And wait, there's somebody else said there was something, a season of something that I needed to see now.
The Boys?
Well, there's The Boys, there's Star Trek Discovery, there's Picard.
What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah, I want to see that. You really rave about that.
That one's an easy watch too, because it's only half-hour episodes, and there's 2 seasons right now or something.
Yeah. What We Do in the Shadows is behind Queen's Gambit. That's probably my favorite show this year.
It's a good. You can throw it on, in the background, and then you'll probably wind up getting immersed in it because the characters are so great.
Yeah.
But it's one of those shows that you're gonna be cracking up, dying, laughing, and you'll miss like 2 or 3 more jokes, and then you come back and you catch them again.
Okay, I need to see this.
And watch the movie as well. It's not necessary. You don't have to watch the movie, but I think that it tonally sets up for the show.
Should I see it first?
The movie?
It is beforehand, because there is. Yeah, you should watch the movie first, because there is at least one part in the first season that benefits from knowing the movie and knowing the characters that appear in the movie.
Yeah, and the movie's only like an hour and 15, hour and 20.
Yeah, it's not long. It's not long at all. It has a very similar feel to This Is Spinal Tap in the movie.
Oh, great! That's one of my favorite movies. Ali agrees with you. It's the best show airing right now for me.
It's very good. It's hilarious, and it's also one that has gotten better as each episode comes out. Like it starts off and you're like, okay, this is good, but then as it goes, it's like better. Because coming off of the movie, I was like, okay, it's a different cast. I didn't realize it was a whole different cast, and it took me a second to adjust to the new people. And then I wound up being like, okay, I really love this entire cast. Like every member of this crew is amazing.
Here's a question that I don't think we can answer. Oh, sorry, Dr. Wolf Tickets. Okay, That's okay. That's a good opinion. Is horror in the way Wicker Man is horror. The one I wanted to do was this one. Star Wars Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen. Do you think it will get a reprint? Well, only Omar would probably know that. But since it's so recent, my guess is it'll be a couple of years before that gets a reprint. But I also don't know. Marvel does stuff. At least Marvel puts out stuff. And so it's certainly possible that would be a surprise reprint. I have the 2 oversized hardcovers. I had the Omni, but I had to trade it to get the Alien Prometheus book, the big giant thing.
I think there's a chance. Like, the first step, of course, is to get the reprint. Is that it's actually out, and it's out on Diamond. Like, it's not purple triangle. It's red. No, at this point. So that's true of it. And Marvel has, like, the sales on some of their Star Wars stuff has not been great, and I think that's because they had too much of a they thought that they were going to sell a lot more than they did, so they printed a lot of, like, the Jason Aaron Star Wars omnibus, and it sold well. It just hasn't sold out yet, but they've reached a point where I think they're fine with now publishing more Star Wars Omnis, because we have 2 that are already solicited, one for Dr. Aphra and one for the first volume of Knights of the Old Republic. So I feel like that, to me, I'm not saying, like, yes, it'll happen or no, it won't happen, but I'm saying that, to me, those are things that are leading towards there being a better chance of it happening. And maybe as we go towards, we're getting the Obi-Wan series coming out, and that'll have Hayden Christensen as Vader in there. Maybe that's going to give them some sort of reasoning to actually publish this book. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping as well that they'll put out a Darth Vader Dark Lord of the Sith omnibus, because that's the Charles Soule series that actually takes place before when the Obi-Wan series is meant to take place. So it'll be a good primer for people who are looking forward to that series to kind of see what where Vader was when he first becomes Vader, and then going into the events of that series.
Well, I was totally wrong. Fuck Omar. We got the Omnibus Collector. He knows.
It's all conjecture. It's just conjecture. Like, well, I don't know anything.
I don't care. That's an answer. That's a great answer.
I'm going by the same, like, when I did the show with Omar and Peter from Crushing Crisis, where we were predicting maps for, like, the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men Volume 5, quote unquote book. Yeah. Peter said, I'm coming at this with logic. Like, I'm not trying to guess. I'm just coming at it by saying this happened, and we know that from this, and this, that, this might happen here and this might happen. Like, he presented everything with facts. He presented everything with, like, the numbers that we have from previous releases, the numbers that we know from whatever. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just giving you the facts. The book is completely sold out. Marvel has obviously taken a renewed interest in publishing Star Wars Omnis after a long drought without any. And third, there is upcoming material that features the character, and we know from previous releases that Marvel likes to do tie-ins. Marvel likes to release an omnibus to tie in with a show, to tie in with a movie, to tie in with the character appearing in another comic, whatever the case is. So there are some factors that could lead towards it being a thing that does happen.
I think that's a good answer. As you know, Tyler Blunt has declared this the winter of Star Wars, because he and I and Taylor are doing a big Star Wars show before the end of the year, and I have read a lot of the Marvel stuff, but I haven't read some stuff, and that's what I'm going to start reading tomorrow. I'm going to start reading. I want to read Jason Aaron Star Wars, and I want to read that Charles Soule Darth Vader, and there's a couple others. I have everything that they've put out, not necessarily in omnibus form, but I have a ton of stuff that I really want to read, and I'm super looking forward to it, because I absolutely loved Kieran Gillen's Darth Vader. I thought it was brilliant, and I love the character Dr. Aphra and the killer droids. That was an amazing invention, character invention on his part. I'm not salty at all about there being one hardcover and then 6 trades after that or something. You all can consider that the Jess physics, the new physics equation where Jess buys the trades and you get an omnibus because of it. I'm happy to have contributed to that because I'm getting that Omni. I want that Dr. Aphra Omni.
It's good stuff. It is I really like the series.
Yeah.
With that, you're starting this this journey, and that this is the winter of Star Wars, the solstice of Star Wars, if you will. I am actually, I think today, after I finish up with you guys, I'm gonna film a few videos, and one of them is gonna be a guide through Marvel's Star Wars comics through the canon timeline. I don't know exactly what my title is going to be. I need something clever, but I'm basically going to just be running through every Star Wars comic that Marvel has published since the Disney acquisition.
Disney acquisition.
And
so you're not going to go back to the original Star Wars.
No, not the old like 70s ongoing series that they released in those Omnis, but I'm just talking about everything from like the Jason Aaron ongoing series, the Kieran Gillen stuff, all the different miniseries.
What's currently canon?
Yeah, exactly. I'm because I realized that unless there's another video that already covers it, there's not really a good source that just tells you, what comics there are and where roughly they take place. And so that's what I want to provide. And I'm just going to go and talk from like the oldest stuff, which is the upcoming High Republic series that Soule is doing something else with High Republic, but there's a writer that I don't recognize the name of, who's doing the High Republic, which is supposed to take place like before the Old Republic, and then talk about everything all the way through to the stuff that takes place around the time of the sequel trilogy. So I'm just going to mention everything where it takes place in the timeline, in regards to each of the movies, in regards to each of the cartoons and stuff like that, so that people can kind of fit those things. Now, I'm not going to be talking about, I'll mention the movies, I'll mention like Clone Wars just to say where it happens, but I'm not going to be talking about the books. I'm not going to be talking about the young reader novels. I won't be talking about the IDW Star Wars Adventures type stuff that they've been publishing. I'm only talking about the Marvel stuff.
Okay.
And this is just going to be to try and make it easier for people to decide, if you're interested in a certain character or a certain time period, this is going to help you to figure out where those things fit.
Can you get that up by tomorrow? I need to see it.
I can try. I'm going to film today, and then it just depends on how long my editing takes.
Doesn't Soule have? He's working on a prose novel, right? He's working on it. Doesn't?
Yeah, I think that's what he's been doing is a prose of the High Republic.
Okay.
And he's done other non-comics. I didn't realize that until I was doing, because I've read all of the Marvel Star Wars stuff, but I don't have it all on my shelf, so I don't remember everything. So I was doing a little research to find out everything and to like solidify the placement on the timeline. And I kept seeing like more stuff with Charles Soule's name on it. And I was like, I don't recognize that. And it's like novels or short stories and stuff. So he's done a lot, but he's also currently writing the ongoing Star Wars series that takes place between episodes 5 and 6. While Pack is writing Vader, I think it's Alyssa Wong is the name of the writer doing Aphra. And then Ethan Sachs is writing a series based around the bounty hunters.
Soule is always hot and cold with me. Like I loved his She-Hulk. I love some of the stuff he's done. I loved his Swamp Thing run. I thought it was far and away better than what Scott Snyder did. But then there's other stuff where I'm just like, it didn't really hit with me.
I like all his big 2 stuff. I don't like his independent stuff.
Okay.
That's become clear to me that I've read a lot of his independent stuff. But I do like everything he's written for the big 2. I don't know why that is. Usually writers like Jeff Lemire and Cullen Bunn struggle under the editorial
Mm-hmm.
on the big two, and they're free to do whatever they want independently. But you guys know how I felt about letter 44.
Yeah.
So I like Soul, and I'm looking forward to reading that. I was going to start with that, but maybe I should start with something else, depending on what the Omnibus Collector comes up with.
Mm. Jess, we also were gifted before Christmas with a new Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips book.
Oh yeah, Reckless. I haven't got that yet. I ordered it, but it hasn't come in yet.
Oh my god, I can't wait to read it. Oh my god,
I haven't read it either.
Yeah, and we were gifted with Pulp this year from him.
Yep.
Cruel Summer and Criminal number 3.
Pulp may go in my top 3 for the year.
Pulp was really good.
It's definitely going to be in my video for Best of 2020. I loved Pulp. Loved it.
If y'all haven't been reading that Texas Blood or whatever, that one's also good.
What is it now?
It's called that. Is it That Texas Blood? It's
by it's singles right now. Wait,
yeah.
Is it by Ed Brubaker?
No, it's by Jacob Phillips.
Oh, so
yeah. So Sean Phillips' brother Jacob Phillips does the art in this one, and writer Chris Condon, who's a new writer. But if y'all enjoy it, it has a similar feel to Brubaker's like very grounded crime stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I only checked it out because Texas, but I was very happy with how it's turned out. It's a great kind of crime series, that Texas.
Yeah, so. Jacob Phillips was one of Taylor's and my first interviews. He's the son of Sean. He's a British guy. He's really cool and laid back. And his office is down by the water where they have all those huge boxes that you see on the container ships. It's a container ship storage facility that they've turned into offices.
Mm-hmm.
So his office is in a container ship, and he's got, it's really cool.
His son is a really good colorist. Like, he's done a few of Sean's books lately, and he's really talented.
Yeah. He was a good guy, and he is very talented. I had a question. High Republic. That's coming out in an Omni?
High Republic is an upcoming series.
Oh, it's an upcoming series.
Yeah, it's a new era that they're exploring that, if I'm not mistaken, is meant to take place pre-Old Republic era. And there's an IDW comic. IDW does all the all ages Star Wars. So there's going to be an IDW comic, and there will be a Marvel comic, which is focusing on a group of like Jedi Padawans and stuff during the High Republic. And then there's other stuff like Lou mentioned, Soul writing a novel. I believe he's doing a novel related to the High Republic. And there's, I think, one more book that's coming out. But this is a new era that they haven't explored yet. So if you are someone who is, tired of the Skywalker saga and you don't want any more of Luke, Leia, and Anakin, this is stuff that's taking place before them. This is stuff that will not involve the Skywalkers.
And the Old Republic Omni, that has appeared in epics before, right?
Yes, the Old Republic, that's old material from Dark Horse. So this is the first Dark Horse Star Wars omnibus that Marvel has published.
Okay.
All the other Star Wars omnis have been the classic Marvel or the modern Marvel. And they've just been doing the epics. But I think that with the success of the Conan omnibus that they did, that sold a lot, even through pre-orders. That sold a lot. So they then went and they're like, all right, let's do Alien, let's do Predator, and now they're going back and doing Star Wars. I'm hoping that they're starting there because they're starting with the oldest chronological material, and then maybe they'll just go forward and we'll have a whole series of Dark Horse Omnis for Star Wars covering every era. Because I used to have all those epics, but I sold them after I had about 20 of them because I'm like, shit, this is like 1/3, and I don't think I'm I'm down to collect 60 epics for Star Wars. But if 60 epics translates into, however many omnis, it'd probably be like 20 to 30.
Omni?
Because it's a lot of material, man. Like,
No.
yeah,
I'm not
like
familiar with that material at all.
because at that point there would be, I can imagine they probably separate it in a way where I can pick and choose what I like, a little bit better than looking at just a million epic collections.
Oh, I can't. I'm not young enough to be able to get into that. I'm gonna have to keep that away from that.
That's a deep hole you don't want to go down, Jess.
Yeah, I had to stop at Conan number 3 because I realized they're going the whole way with it. Apparently, and, I can't go any further.
Oh, the Marvel era Conan stuff.
The Savage, the Omnis that they put out, Savage Sword and Conan.
Yeah, I grabbed that first one and I realized after I bought it, like, this is not really my thing. And just like you said, they're doing so many of them, and the way that I am, I would be like, I have to get all of them. And I was like, I can nip it in the bud now and just stop. And I sold it and I was like, I'm done. But I got the Dark Horse one, the Kurt Busiek one. Yeah. Because I figured that's all in one. It's all of his material. I can read that if I like it, and then they decide to do like the Truman stuff later, then I'll, I can use that to launch off and get those. And it's not as much as because whereas the Marvel stuff is like gonna be, 10 volumes of Conan the Barbarian and however many volumes of Savage Sword, the Dark Horse stuff, I added it up, and there's, much less material. It'd be a much smaller amount, even if they did everything that was published by Dark Horse.
So, quick question for you guys, because we're coming up towards the end of the year. We only cover the best stuff usually. What was the worst thing you've read this year?
The worst? Easy. User.
Wow, that was quick.
That was the last thing I ever poured root beer on. I did it with OmniCat. I did a review of it, and the more we talked about it, the angrier I got at it.
Is that the Grayson one?
Yeah, where there's just casual rape of a young girl by the father's best friend, and the older daughter is the focus of the story, and it's supposed to be this great LGBT, LBGQT coming out story that won awards and stuff. Yeah. But there's this casual rape where the father's friend just shows up every day to rape this underage girl. Good. Father does nothing about it. The daughter does nothing about it. The fucking guy brings donuts one morning, like, hey, I'm here to rape your daughter. Let's have some donuts. And like, this book is awful. Yeah. Terrible. I don't pour root beer on anything anymore. That era of me is over. It was, fun when it happened, but I don't do it anymore. But no book has ever pissed me off as much as that book. She should be ashamed for writing that book.
I think, didn't someone try to say that you were like call you out on doing that for that book, and then you told them, like, you put them in their place about it, and you're like, no, this book is absolutely abysmal. It deserves every. Like, I remember someone getting onto you about it, and you're like, no, absolutely not.
No, well, people have an issue with my destroying a book. Like, books are sacred, and you shouldn't destroy a book. And you could have given it away. You could have done this. You could have done that. I wouldn't give that book away. I couldn't give that to a library. I couldn't write about selling it. I don't want that getting into anybody else's hands. And yeah, somebody tried to jam me up about it. And yeah, I did. I came down hard on them. There's no excuse for underage rape at all in general. But then to not even address it and have the father just after the rape be like, so how's it going? Do you want a beer? It's mind-bogglingly inappropriate and truly offensive.
So you think they handle it very irresponsibly?
Irresponsibly or responsibly?
Irresponsibly.
Yeah, I don't know where the editors were in this book. They just whipped it through, and it won awards. It's an old book. It won awards from glad or something. Who must have not read into it what Omnicat and I did, but she and I were both furious at it.
Mm.
And I can't remember what made me pick it up. It was supposed to be a good book, and oh, guacamole.
I wonder if it's one of those like they're like, oh, it goes so far. How daring or something, you know? They're like, oh, how daring of them to go to that place. And it's like, well, you can cover these topics if you cover it in a way that's, you know, sensitive and responsible, not in a way that's just making it just a flippant, like, okay, well, it happens. This is, you know, it's a thing. Here you go. Because at that point, it's like, why is it in there? What's the point of it being there?
Again, having read it, it sounds like, and this is one of my pet peeves, it sounds, in writing in general, it sounds like they just use it as a crutch to get you to be mad and upset about something. It's like, wow, isn't this terrible? You should be totally upset and mad about that, about this. But they don't handle it responsibly, and they don't tread lightly with it enough. It's just thrown in there for the sake of being thrown in there.
It did nothing to push the story forward. It had nothing to do with the story. At the very end, when the girl decides to run away, the 14-year-old is begging her to take her with her. I mean, she's like, please let me run away with you. It was, well, first of all, I can't justify rape in any book.
Yeah.
To push the story forward. There's no reason for it. There's lots of other traumas that can happen that don't involve rape.
Mm.
And this thing was just there, and it frosted us so much that the dad just let it happen and was okay with it. He was like, come right in, bring your donuts, and there's my daughter's room. And the protagonist, the main teenage girl, she didn't do anything about it. They sat in the driveway, the father and daughter, and watched through the curtains as it was happening at night. And I was, oh God. Well, there's your answer to my worst book of the year.
I kind of regret asking you that.
Yeah, I don't even have I don't have an answer, but especially not after that. Like, what am I going to be like? Oh, that new issue of Batman was pretty bad.
I mean, I had an answer, but it's like, do I follow up that? Because my answer is kind of lame.
Well, no, you guys go ahead. I mean, there's plenty of bad books that were poorly written and stuff. I just
that's just offensively bad.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have started, but it just popped into my mind right away. What did you guys read that you didn't like, that you thought was the worst book of the year?
What's that? Okay, so what's that conspiracy book that's at Image that they were promoting really a lot? Ryley, you and I were pretty cold on it when we read the first issue.
Oh man, now I forget what it's called. I know what you're talking about. The one by James Tynion. Department of Truth.
Yes, that's what it was. I didn't like it. I've read the next two issues and I just didn't care for it. That's probably the worst.
You know, that book has such a great concept, but I feel like he's not really hitting it as well as he could.
No, it's all plot. It has the same problem to me as, because I saw Tenet last night, which, my God, if you understand that plot, good Lord. I saw Tenet last night, and one of my main problems with Tenet is that it's all literally plot. That's all it is. There is nothing else there but plot.
No character development.
No characters, and the characters are solely there to give you exposition and move to the next plot point. That is it.
Oh.
And that is my biggest issue with Tenet, because it is the special effects and the camera work and all the work that went into choreographing all these amazing fight scenes and all these amazing moments. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The story for what is there is almost nonsensical. And there's at one point where one of the characters just flat out goes, "Don't try to understand it, just feel it." And I'm like, what? No, you're trying to make that doesn't work for me.
And you were really looking forward to that movie,
I
right?
was really looking forward to it. I fell asleep about an hour and a half into it last night.
Wow, because you love his movies.
I love his movies, and usually I'm all in. I'm like, damn, this is really cool. I loved all his last movies, but I just could not stay awake through it. It was just because it was kind of just all plot, and it was nonsensical for me. I was like, all right, I get what you're doing. I get the mechanics of how this time travel thing works that you're trying to explain, or inversion, however the hell he wants to explain it. But for the most part, I didn't care about any of the characters. John David Washington, who was amazing in BlacKkKlansman, I didn't give a shit about him in this movie. He literally has no name in the film. Literally, he doesn't have a name. He's referred to simply as the protagonist in the film. And it didn't do anything for me.
Is the stream bugging for anybody? Because Lamework says, is my phone dying or is the stream bugging? Is anybody having a problem with the stream? I'm saying that I actually have no way to correct it, but I hope it's not bothering anybody.
And that's my same issue, just kind of getting back to that's my same issue with Tinian, where he's got a fucking great premise. I love the premise of the first issue where if enough kind of spoilers, I guess, for the first issue, if enough people believe in a conspiracy theory, it becomes reality. I love that. I think it's a great setup for something, but he is just not sticking the landing for me on this at all.
He's basically only relying on being like, let's talk about more conspiracies and about how in this world that they're real. But he hasn't, I mean, you're right. Like, he hasn't done much to give us a good look at like who the characters are here. What they could have done is something where he focuses on one conspiracy at a time. So like maybe the first arc, you do something big like JFK or the Earth is flat, and have an arc that covers that conspiracy, and then have an overarching storyline of a bigger conspiracy that the characters are looking into, that the characters have connection to. But instead, it's been a lot of just like throwing more and more at you, so he can be like, oh, and this is real, and this is real, and this is real, and this is real, and it's like he's done a little bit to give you some characters. And there are some interesting character moments in there, but it's bogged down by his just insistence on shoving all these other things in our face, and it's become a little bit distracting and disappointing. And if I'm being honest, I don't have a pick for like the worst thing I read of the year, but I am gonna say that I've gone from really loving his work to slowly seeing his work go down in quality. And his Batman run has just not done it for me. His Detective Comics was great, and now his Batman, he's just like, I feel like he's phoning it in, and he's using it as a vehicle for his own original characters.
You don't like Punchline? Not
like that. Like, Punchline's such a to me, like, just a pointless character. And now she's going to be featured in her own stuff. And it's like he uses it to introduce Punchline and the Clown Hunter, or whatever the heck the dude with the Mohawk helmet was. And he has another character that he's introduced. And I'm also almost to the point where I'm like, I'm just not even interested in reading it, because it's not doing anything that's really pushing me forward. And it sucks because of all the books going into the next era of DC after Future State, I forget what Infinite Frontier or whatever. He's one of the few people who's actually staying on his book, and it's like all the different creators that are on titles right now, he's one of the few that I wish would move on. Like they're moving Detective Comics from Peter Tomasi to Mariko Tamaki, and I love Tamaki, and her short story in Detective 1027 was great, but it's like I would have much rather seen Tomasi stay on a Bat book than to see Tinian continue doing this, because it's just really not done anything for me. And I don't know if that's a hot take or like a controversial opinion, but yeah, he's losing steam. He's kind of losing me as a creator right now.
Tomasi did, I believe, was it Detective that he did mythology? Was that Tomasi?
Yeah.
He started out great on mythology. That was one of my favorite Batman books of last. I think it was last year. But the latest entries in it have been very pedestrian. The following trades, I was really disappointed, and I love Tomasi's Batman and Robin, all his other Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, his quality, the mythology is fantastic, and I've stopped buying it. I'm not interested. His work has just dropped off a cliff for me, starting with volume 2 of that run.
Have you read his Suicide Squad yet?
Tomasi?
You mean Tom Taylor's?
Oh, Tom Taylor's on Suicide Squad. My bad. I gotta mix it up.
Is it?
But that's a good one too. That's a good book.
No, Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad is probably my book of the year.
That's some good stuff.
If it's not collected, I haven't read it yet.
It's coming out in a hardcover sometime next year. I don't know if it's going to be oversized, but it's an all-in-one. It's only 11 issues.
It's a toss-up for me between that and I know I'm giving away my choices, but it's probably a toss-up between that and Thor for my book of the year.
Thor's good too.
And what Thor? I'm way behind on Thor. Who's writing this particular Thor that you're talking about? Cates is Thor. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is with Null and.
Yeah, he's doing well to insert that into his whole cosmic Marvel saga, right, while also following up on stuff that like Jason Aaron had been doing prior. So it's really cool. I really like. This is how you get me. Like it. And I know there's not a single writer out there who's like, oh man, I really need to get that guy. But this is how a writer can get me. If you bring back characters from a comic's past, characters who have been absent for a while, characters who have kind of not really been important for a while, and give them a new role and evolve them into something new, that you get me with that one. Mm-hmm. And he's doing that right now. I haven't read the last 1 or 2 issues of Thor, but that's what he's doing. He's doing that, and it's expanding on, because I love the idea of expanding on the mythology of the character, the existing mythology of this character, and something that existed before that has not been touched on before, or not been touched on in a while, and touching on that in a new way while connecting it to other parts of the mythology. And that's something that Cates has done really well. And before Cates, that's, I think, why I really liked much of Remender's work at Marvel, was because he was taking existing concepts from the Marvel universe, especially a lot of things that we knew from like some of the 90s stuff, like Onslaught and
that's what he did in his X-Force run.
Yeah, he took things that existed, things that had been not used for a while, things that hadn't been used to the best of their abilities, and he expanded on that in really awesome and positive ways and gave us new stories without, in my opinion, giving us contrived new characters out of nowhere, without just, ass pulling something new and throwing it on the page.
What are some other Marvel books that you're referring to that Remender has done besides Uncanny X-Force?
He's done X-Force, Secret Avengers, Venom, Uncanny Avengers.
Which I remember a lot of people being kind of lukewarm on his Venom, and now that's kind of a run that's like, no, his Venom run is really fucking good.
Yeah, that was some good, because that one was like taking the character of Flash Thompson, who has always kind of been just a side character in Spider-Man stories. He's had his stories here and there where he comes out to the forefront, but he gave him this huge role and made him into a character and fused it with another existing character that had also kind of fallen to the wayside in recent years with Venom, and combined them into this one new thing, and really jump-started the that character Flash and jump-started Venom both going into this new era. Because if you think about it, even though Venom is like a household name character and one of the most popular anti-heroes or villains or whatever for the Marvel Universe and for Spider-Man, he hadn't really had much going on in the comics at that time. We hadn't had an ongoing series for a while. The most recent things that had happened were like, it was Venom with Mac Gargan, and we had him as part of the teams, like the Thunderbolts and stuff like that. And then he took that concept of, I know Slott was involved in this too, but they took that concept of the Venom symbiote, took it away from Mac, give it to Flash, and just run with it in this new direction. And Remender did such a great job of integrating Flash into the Spider-Man's overall mythology and the Marvel mythology in a much more direct way that hadn't been done before. And he even was doing it as a way to follow up on the really awesome one-shot that Mark Guggenheim did a while before that, years before that, where he showed us, Flash had been out at war and he lost his legs and all that stuff. He took that issue and ran with that. So it's like that's something I really appreciated. And I feel like Donny Cates does a good job of doing these things and kind of reaching back into reaching to the hat and pulling out something new and being like, this is something that you're familiar with and I'm going to do something new with it. And the thing is, I know there's some people who might be lukewarm on it and there's some people who might not enjoy at all what he's doing. But at the end of the day, you always have to remember that it doesn't really matter because they put everything back into the box anyway. Yeah. And the comics all go back to normal eventually.
Him tying Null back to Jason Aaron's Thor run was fucking brilliant for me.
Yes.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You really pulled this off.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was one of my favorite things.
And it felt so, the thing is for me, it was like, this feels so fucking natural. And
it's organic.
It works.
It's so organic. That's 100% why it works, is like you're given this thing and this thing and it's a new thing. And then you're given this other thing, and then he just marries them into this one thing, and you're like, okay, all right, that's great. I love it. And what's also cool is now we have, spoilers a little bit for some of the stories that have happened in the past year or two. We now have a back door to introducing Null in the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get there. It just kind of makes sense because they've said Christian Bale is going to be the God Butcher. And then
that's what I'm saying. Like, since they have that character already confirmed, there's our back door. Null could be a new major force. Like, people wondering what's the next major villain that we're gonna get. We could get Galactus, and we could also get Null. Mm-hmm. We could get a lot. Like, and I know that Null's a lot newer of a character, and I don't think that they're gonna put like their entire eggs into that basket. Like, I really doubt that that's gonna happen. But Feige has a role now with the comics, and the comics have really done a lot to kind of play with ideas that would very soon start getting involved in the movies. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of the synergy that people have already gotten annoyed with is now more strongly at play, but with the comics doing things first and then the movies doing those things. So it's very freaking possible that we could see some of these things start playing out in, phase 4, phase 5 films and stuff like that.
I don't mind any of this single issue talk. I won't be able to know what you're talking about till it comes out in collected edition. I think it's important to talk about it, and I'm going to forget about it by the time the hardcovers come out. So it's perfect. I encourage you to keep talking about it because it's a good conversation. I don't have anything to add to it because I won't for 2 years until it comes out in hardcover or something.
Well, King in Black just started, and I'm digging the hell out of it. Ryan Stegman is drawing the fuck out of King in Black.
And now who's writing King in Black? Is that Cates?
That's Cates. Yeah. It's his culmination of like pretty much everything that he's done so far, kind of tying into this big event that he's got going on right now. I think it's 2 issues in, and it's pretty good.
I'm behind. I'm about a month behind on my reading right now because I'm trying to catch up on some stacks on stacks of manga that I've got. But I've basically read everything leading up to it, and I'm right there at the cusp of them doing all this stuff. But yeah, it's like everything from his Venom, and then also tying in with stuff with his cosmic stuff, because of course Null was involved in the plot that he had with Guardians and and Silver Surfer and all that jazz. So this is really coming together for him, and I don't know if that's supposed to be like his final piece of the Venom puzzle, or if he's going to continue going afterwards. But it's some exciting stuff, and that's another thing. Like, you know, that what I was saying. You know, you take existing things and push them to a new level. Like, he's pushing the character, pushing Venom to a new level with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to stay there. It's not like Venom's always going to be the character at the forefront of the Marvel universe, but it's cool to see that, you know, for people who like the two of us, Lou and myself, who grew up at the same time that Cates did. It's cool to see someone like playing with the toys in the way that we might have.
Mm-hmm.
Question: Chip Zdarsky just got announced for a book for DC. What was it? Was it Batman?
He's doing a short story in Batman Black and White.
There's your fucking writer for over Tinian.
Yeah.
There's your writer over Tinian.
Absolutely.
After there's your fucking writer, DC, that you need to put on that Batman book.
Yeah. He's so good.
Really
I love Zdarsky because he started off
as a fucking joke.
Yeah.
As a joke.
Just a complete joke.
On sex criminals, and nobody fucking took him seriously. Do you remember Zdarsky Con or whatever it was that he had, where he had like a table set up in the random street with himself?
I love, like, he's so hilarious with everything that he does, and like
nobody took him seriously at the start because he was writing fucking sex criminals, and he's always just making jokes about himself, and he wasn't even serious about himself. And he turns out to be a fucking great writer.
And even when he started moving into other things, like his other stuff at Image, a lot of it was at the time, like he did this really goofy kind of sci-fi thing, Kaptara, and then he moved over to Marvel, and he was doing Howard the Duck. Like, he revived Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And it was as you would expect. And I've said this stuff before, but I remember when he moved from Howard the Duck and he got Spider-Man, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a great, hilarious Spider-Man comic. And I was like, this is very much different than what I was expecting. But he was moving from being the very comedic writer to moving more into the serious stuff. And it's like he took that with him and he rolled with it from Spider-Man to Marvel 2-in-1, from Marvel 2-in-1 to doing the Invaders. And the Invaders was like the first time he did something where I was like, all right, this is serious business. And then he jumps on Daredevil. And it's funny because the whole time you have this guy whose style is evolving, and he's falling into being, like, without a doubt, one of the best writers that's working right now. And he's still the same dude on Twitter. Like, he's still, like, if you see him doing, he's had videos where, like, he was promoting, I think it was when he was first promoting Daredevil coming out, and he was doing retailer videos, and he's like, hey, retailers, let me know, like, if you want me to do a video for you. And you just pop in and be like, hey guys, it's Chip here, talking to you for Third Eye Comics, and there's a series coming out, and he just rambles, and it's the most hilarious thing. Like, I think that's what it was for, was Daredevil.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can find it on YouTube or find it on Facebook somewhere, with him just rambling on, and he has like a cheesy green screen background, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh man. And what was it TGI Fridays that he had his thing with on Twitter? I don't remember what restaurant it was.
Oh,
but he went back and forth with a restaurant on Twitter.
Oh, that was funny. That's right.
Yeah,
He's hilarious.
It amazes me that he started off as this guy that was doing the art for Matt Fraction's Sex Criminal, and he turns into being a much better writer than Fraction. Like, a far better writer than Fraction is.
Like, Fraction's the one now that's like, he's writing the stuff that is... Oh, it was Applebee's. I was just looking for it.
Where can you find it? Is it on Twitter?
I think it's on their Facebook page. Let me look up.
Applebee's Facebook page?
But Fraction now is the writer who's, like, writing the stuff that's, like, half funny, half not. Like, he's doing what basically I was expecting for Chip's career to be. Yeah, which early bird entree are you thinking about ordering today? And then Chip says, the worm. Haha, get it? I know you don't serve worms. It's just a joke. And they respond, good joke. And he says, thank you.
We do have a ton of questions. Thelonious, ask your question again. We didn't get to it. He's a little salty. He says, okay, don't answer my question.
Oh, we was wondering what's the name of that book that you didn't like this year.
Oh, okay, Thelonious. It was User. The stream turns out to be fine. It's just lame works. Let's see. What show, what book? I don't know what you're talking about. Page 1. Let's see. Blah-de-da. When did you guys stop reading Department of Truth?
Oh, I'm still reading it.
3.
I will continue reading because I like the concept, and I've gotten better at dropping things lately, but this is one that I want to see out until it either pisses me off so much that I have to drop it, or it feeds into what I want it to be. Here's another Applebee's.
This is the man that stuck through Civil War II, so he's going to be on that for a while.
It made him drink.
Says, our 3 cheese penne goes great with blank for a perfect pick and pair combo. And Chip says, my mouth. And then he says, I know the mayor of Toronto says he has plenty to eat at home, but I say you can't go wrong eating at Applebee's. LOL. And then another comment, sorry, didn't mean to get political here. And then Applebee's says, do you ever order this, Chip? And he goes, no, I'm not allowed to have that much cheese according to my wife, Deborah. And they go, we're sorry. And he goes, you have nothing to apologize for, Applebee's, ever.
This is a real question, and I think, and it's got some answers, but I think it deserves to be looked at because Candace is asking, who is this Becky Cloonan person? She's doing a Bat book, I've heard. And then Roberto says Tom Taylor's going to write Nightwing, but
yeah, he is.
Then Henry McFadden starts talking about Becky Cloonan.
She's fantastic.
She is great. I don't think she gets enough credit. She did a great Punisher run.
Yeah.
Let's see. NFL Dude says Cloonan's writing Immortal Wonder Woman with Michael W. Conrad, art from Jen Bartel. I'm going to get that.
Cloonan is one of the best writers today. She's great.
Yeah. Besides, let's think about what besides Punisher was great. What else has Cloonan written? Because she's a writer like Kelly Thompson that I will just say, oh, okay, Becky Cloonan's writing it. I will get it. What else?
Everything she's written, I know a lot of because I know Punisher, but Punisher was one of the first things that I remember reading that she wrote.
Yeah. She definitely doesn't get enough credit.
Let's see. I'm trying to find if there's info on her.
Okay.
Because most of it is going to be her doing the art on stuff.
Oh, she's an artist too. I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she started as an artist on a lot of things.
Palmiotti's wife.
No, that's Amanda Connor.
Whoops. Yeah, I got it mixed up. Yeah, my bad.
And you have to say it like Omar, Palmianti.
Palmianti.
When he interviewed him, he was calling him Palmianti.
Oh, God.
You know, I've been, speaking of Omar mispronouncing things all the time, I've been getting a lot of people commenting on my videos about the way I pronounce stuff, and every single time I'm right, and it's funny because then I get to tell them actually, I get to be the actually guy.
Actually,
one dude was really polite about it, and I'm not trying to call him out or anything, just in case he watches us here. We had a nice conversation after that, but it was I was talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I said part 5, which is originally titled Vento Audio, which is Italian for Golden Wind. I'm going to go here in just a second, but I'm going to tell these 2 stories.
No.
And so I said audio, and he said, isn't it pronounced arrow? Because it's wind, like air. And then I had to explain, like, no, actually, vento is the word that translates to wind. Aureo is pronounced that way. It means gold, and it's like, the Spanish word is oro, and it comes from the Latin aureus, and stuff like that. So I got to explain that, and we had a cool conversation about JoJo's after that. So I'm not upset there. But this one guy on my video that I loaded Friday night, I was talking about my favorite ongoing manga titles, and another JoJo thing, JoJolion, which is the 8th part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, is on my list. And I said in there, it's pronounced JoJolion, like Evangelion, not JoJolion, like, you'd say like a lion or something, or not JoJo Lion.
Yeah.
And someone said, like, yes, Evangelion, the very popular anime, because the anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion with a hard G. But the word is like, evangelist or evangelical. Evangelion. So I pronounced it with the soft G, Evangelion, because it's not the title is not a reference to Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's a reference to the word, with the Greek root and all that stuff. Evangelion meaning gospel, because the title is supposed to be a play on words that means blessed JoJo. And so I explained this, and I said, like, it's not. I'm not talking about the anime. I'm talking about an actual word here that's used in the English language. And the creator even said, this is where it's coming from. This is why it's called that. It means blessed JoJo, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, damn, man, I'm not caught up. Spoilers. And I'm like, I'm just translating the name for you. Shit.
Look at you.
I'm gonna head out. I gotta go pick up a printer, guys. I'm getting a printer.
Oh, that's good. You can do your own labels now.
Sorry, my headphones are acting up right now. All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys take it easy. Enjoy your Sunday.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye, man. Have a good one.
Man, you go into the Greek etymology of words. Wow.
Can you highlight Adam Welkick? I don't even know how to pronounce it.
What time was it?
1:32.
Oh, I'm way behind. 1:32. Adam Welkick.
Who is the best artist that became an even better writer? What do you think?
Well, of course, Zdarsky comes to mind first.
Mm.
What artist that became? Because a lot of times artists are not good writers.
No.
Neil Adams.
Sean Murphy?
That's a good one. Because the more I read White Knight, the more I like it. And so I'm going to reread Curse of the White Knight again. That's a really good one.
Bendis was an artist.
Okay. Yeah, I have some books that are drawn by him. I don't know that I know some good artists that are, it wasn't Brian Hitch. He's the artist on Ultimates, and I think he did Justice League and for Rebirth.
I think you're right.
Unless I'm thinking of Steve Orlando. Let me, actually, I don't have the book. I got rid of the book. So that was a dumpster fire.
Frank Miller when he was on the Sauce, and he was on the Sugar Booger.
Yeah, let's keep that. Let's keep those in code names. That is a really good question.
Jeff Lemire, Candace, very good.
Yeah.
Jeff
Oh
Lemire.
boy, did he start out as an artist though, or did he start out as an artist writer?
I think he started as an artist writer. The first thing I remember from him is Essex County.
My first exposure was Sweet Tooth, but I think I've read everything by him now.
Scotty Young, Candace really dropping.
Yeah. Where's Candace? Is she coming up out of a bunch of these? Scotty Young. Yep, Candace, you're right. Scotty Young, yeah. I loved I Hate Fairyland. George Perez, that's a good one.
John Byrne.
John Byrne, yeah.
John Byrne is up there. Despite him being a racist, he's up there.
Oh, is he really a racist or just conservative?
I don't know. I don't lump conservatives and racists together. No, because he said something. Remember, we talked about this. He said something about like Puerto Rican Fantastic Four or something like that when they casted Jessica Alba.
What? I didn't know that.
We talked about this on the show.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
Never John Byrne is not the nicest person to meet in real life. So
I want to meet Ming Neng Hua, or whatever her name is. She's 57 and kicks major ass. Somebody showed a picture of meeting her at a Comic-Con, and she was really nice. She's on my list now with Elizabeth Olsen to meet in person.
well, you told that to me today that she's 57, and I was like, "There's no fucking way," and she is. She does not look her age.
No. She looks like 35. She doesn't look like she's, in her 20s like she was on ER, but wow. And I think she does her own stunts. I mean, I'm not sure about that. You'll have to look it up, but something tells me she does do all the kind of martial arts stuff.
Yeah.
Sam Keith, Matt Kint, good one, Candace.
Darwin Cook. There it is.
Cook.
There it is. That might be it.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Yeah, that's yeah. Rick Remender was an inker. Remender was an animator. Yeah, John Byrne. David Lapham. Ming-Na Wen. Thank you, Raz. Yes, if I'm going to meet her and propose to her, I need to get her name right. I'm going to go up to her and I say, I'm already married. I have nothing to offer you. We know we live on opposite sides of the country. Please marry me. And I will get escorted out of the con. Ming-Na Wen. Ming-Na Wen. Ming-Na Wen. Ming-Na Wen. Here is a question. Jess, which cover for the New Mutants Omnibus are you getting? I got the one that was released this past week on CGN. I believe I opted for the not DM, which I usually get the DM of something because it's usually much cooler. But I felt the regular cover for New Mutants was to my liking more. And I'm not going to see that for a while because that was back when I didn't know how to order from DCBS. So it's in with a bunch of other stuff that gets released in 2040. So I'm not going to see it for a while. Now I know you make small orders according to when they come out several times and you just pay the shipping and swallow it. But
or else you're not getting that sucker for a minute.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. And it's always stuff that I really want. Sergio, yep, as soon as I get it, I am doing an overview. The minute I get it, it's cellophane off, and I'm going to read it just like I did Spectre. Just cellophane off, boom. Thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate the encouragement.
Anything you're picking up this week?
This coming week?
Yeah, or is this kind of a dead week? Because this is week.
Let me look. I have Emily's list right here.
This is Christmas week, so this week mostly we usually don't get omnibuses or anything this week.
Marvel Cosmic Universe by Cates Omni. I'm getting that.
Is that this week?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It was I pre-ordered that, so I don't know when I'm going to get that. Oh no, I pre-ordered that and I should be getting it when it comes out.
Cool.
Because let's see. Now this says that Klaus Life and Times of Santa Claus that's not the new one. The new one they're releasing the week after Christmas, right? This must be a reprint. Duh. Okay. Let's see. What interesting. Ascender Volume 3. I'm waiting for that in hardcover. Sorry, you guys. I am not spending my money on those trades. Peace and love. Peace and love. Forget it. Let's see. DC through the 80s, the end of eras. I feel like that sounded kind of interesting. I'm not sure Ghost Spider has a new trade paperback. Hawkeye has one. I feel like for Omnis, it's just the New Mutants Sienkiewicz cover and Cosmic Universe by Cates. Pre-club Promethea. Those of you who don't have Promethea, book 3's coming out, which I highly recommend you get.
These are just picks for the week.
I'm sorry?
These are Jess's picks for the week.
Yes. Oh, Terrifics, Volume 4. I need to start getting that. That's supposed to be a really good book from
I need to read that. Yeah, I need to read that.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, same.
Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow Deluxe. Top pick of the week. If you don't have that, you gotta get it. That's one of my favorite books of ever. Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and that looks like it for the Marvelverse graphic novel trade paperback Wanda and Vision. I don't know what that is, but I'll find out tomorrow night. I think that looks like that's the highlights. Batman, Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, Authority Book 1 trade paperback. I'm interested in what that's going to be about.
Is WandaVision next month?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I know. I'm dying for that.
I am so excited for WandaVision.
I am too. I really am. And it's not just because, well, yeah, no, it's only because I have a major crush on her. That's really the only reason. I don't care a bit about Vision.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that there was another Olsen sibling out there with talent.
Yeah. Kate's Guardian OHC. I didn't see that for this week. Let's see if it's on my December books. Kate's Guardians. Not for this week. I don't see it. What's this book? Oh, it would be Kate's Guardians. It must have got pushed back because I had it on my previews that I do at the beginning of the month as coming out this week. That was a good question. Who asked that question?
Atit
Patel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's a patron.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that must have got pushed back. We'll have to look that up. Comic releases had it for this week still.
This would be a Ryley or an Omar question.
Yeah. Okay, let me look again. Maybe I missed it. Nope, I don't see it.
Might have been pushed back.
Maybe it got pushed back a week. Comic releases had it for this week. Okay, I'll get a hold of him and ask him what he knows. Because that site, I do my releases for the month with him. And that site is so great. It is so easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, why don't I go to it right now? Wait, I think I'm logged in on Safari. Comic releases. Okay. It's still listed for this week, huh? This week. Current week. Does that include? Okay, that was last week. So let's see next week. Guardians of the Galaxy is supposed to come out this week. There's a lot that's supposed to come out this week that we did not cover. Harbinger Wars 2 Deluxe.
Another Valiant book?
Yeah. Captain America, Sam Wilson Complete Collection. Batman Rise and Fall of the Batman Omnibus. Oh, that's the detective run. But I didn't see that. Did I say that?
I mean, it is DC Comics, so you never know what you might get with them. So at this point, I'm happy they're just publishing something.
Yeah. That Batman Rise and Fall, that's the detective comic run that's more Batwoman than anything, and that is great.
Mhm.
But I didn't see that in IST's list. Where'd that list go? Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I assume it just got pushed back a week. So I apologize, even though I had nothing to do with it. I feel like everybody holds me responsible, so I apologize.
Jess, why don't you tell them where they can get these awesome books that we've been talking about?
When they come out, these books, I think Tinian Omni moved to 12/30. Batman Rise and Fall comes out on December 29th. Okay, so they pushed that back a week. So I bet that's what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy book. These books can be found from our fabulous sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. A couple of weeks ago, I found a book that was 50% off, and I bought it. They are always kind enough to give us a gift card worth $50 available that we give away, available to anybody in the world. You just have to pay for shipping. Over $50 in an order in the United States. Buddy, we got you covered. Free shipping. That comes in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Great stuff.
So, Lou, where can they find you?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on the Twitter and on YouTube, where there's a backlog of my old videos and stuff that I used to do. So go check that stuff out.
You're still active on Twitter, though?
Every once in a while, I'll post something.
Okay. And you can find me, what am I? Omnidog. Omnidog's Vault on YouTube. I just had a video with Omnicat where we reviewed 3 books. One of them was a manga that reads front to back, Blade of the Immortal. So you can tune in and see what I thought about that manga. And on Instagram, Omnidogs_Vault. And we will be on tomorrow night going over previews at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's Omnibroslive. And thank you to the chat. Very lively chat. I'm sorry we didn't get to all your questions, but it was really good. Any question we didn't get to, the chat answered, which I really appreciate. Thank you all for watching, and thank you to everybody out there who didn't participate in the chat, but is just enjoying looking at us yap about comics. And thanks to those of you who watch us afterwards. Thank you to Lou, the fabulous Lou, for being a great guy. And thank you to the fans. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to InStockTrades.com. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.